Cassie didn't like closing. The store always felt too quiet after the Friars went still, and the din of beeping machines gave way to silence. The floor was sticky, the lights buzzed, and the drive-through headset sat dead on the counter like a coiled insect. She was 19. No car, no ride, tonight. It was almost midnight when she tied her hoodie tight and stepped out the side door of the burger stop, past the empty dumpsters and flickering light. The walk home wasn't far, maybe a mile and a half. Birch Street, Weller Avenue, then Maplewood Lane, where the houses were old and yards small but safe enough. She'd done it plenty of times. Still, she kept her head down. The streets were dark. The breeze carried old leaves across the pavement. And every so often, she passed a porch light glowing above a quiet house, windows drawn tight like closed eyes. It wasn't until she hit the corner of Birch and Weller that she heard it. Footsteps. They weren't loud, just faint, like a boot softly tapping pavement. Not rhythmic but deliberate, pausing every few seconds, picking up again. She slowed, the steps slowed. She stopped. So did they. She turned, pretending to glance down at her phone. A figure stood across the street, just still. Cassie looked forward again, trying to push the fear down. Maybe someone else just walking home. A neighbor. Totally normal. But something about the way he stood. Like he wasn't trying to get anywhere. She picked up the pace, shoes tapping harder now. The sidewalk narrowed on Weller. No more street lights, just the glow from distant porches. Her shadow stretched long in front of her. But now, there was another shadow, trailing behind. She crossed the street. So did he. She turned the corner fast, heart beginning to thud in her ears. There was a small church halfway down Weller. She passed it every night. But tonight it looked wrong. The stained glass glared in the dark and the sign buzzed with a broken neon, "God is love." She looked back again. He was closer. She stopped. Pretended to tie her shoe. He stopped too. No phone signal, no traffic. Just the sound of her breath and his boots scuffing closer. She stood, looked straight at him. "Can I help you?" No answer. Just that slow tilt of his head. That was enough. She turned and ran. Her breath came sharp. Her bag thudded against her hip. Behind her, the pounding of his boots, heavier now, faster. He was chasing her. She didn't look back. Couldn't look back. The bridge was ahead, narrow, old, no sidewalk. Just a rail. She flew across it, her footsteps echoing like gunshots in the tunnel of silence. On the other side of the bridge, she veered left, cutting through a row of dark houses. Her lungs screamed. Her side ached. But she didn't stop because she could hear him, still behind her, still running, still coming. She reached Maplewood Lane, her street. She could see her house now, second on the left with the crooked mailbox and solar porch light. She reached into her pocket for her keys, nearly dropped them. Her hand was trembling. Behind her, silence. She spun around, no one. The street was empty, no movement, no sound. Cassie's hand hovered above the lock. Then she heard it, breathing. Not hers. From just past the edge of the porch. Heavy, steady. She stepped back. The porch light flickered once, and he was there, standing halfway in the shadow, eyes wide, face blank. She screamed, shoved the key in and threw the door open, slamming it shut behind her, locking the deadbolt, and falling to the floor. He didn't bang, didn't yell, didn't move. When she looked through the peephole, he was gone. The cops came 20 minutes later. No sign of anyone, no footprints, no glove, no receipts, nothing. She didn't sleep that night. She sat on the couch with a knife in her hand, just watching the windows, listening. She quit the burger stop the next day, moved in with her aunt across town. But 2 weeks later, she got a letter. No name, no return address. Inside was a single page, blank except for one line, scribbled in red pen. "You're fast." Cassie never walked alone again. Never took closing shifts. Never opened the door without looking twice. Because somewhere out there, someone's still walking, still watching, still waiting for her to slow down. His shift ended at midnight. For the last 14 years, Clay had walked the same path home. The steel plant sat near the edge of town, past the grain silos, down the old railroad tracks, and through a stretch of empty road surrounded by scrubby woods. There were no sidewalks out here, no streetlights, just a man and his breath steaming in the cold. He wasn't scared of the dark. He'd worked this shift for years. Hell, he liked the walk, helped clear his head. But tonight something was off. It started with the sound, a soft dragging noise just behind him, like something wet being pulled across pavement. He turned, nothing there, just the woods, wind and silence. Clay kept walking, crunch of gravel under his boots. The air had a strange taste to it, metallic, like hot pennies. Then he heard it again. Drag, shuffle. Closer now. He stopped. So did it. He called out, "Who's there?" No answer. Just the distant hum of the plant and a single cricket chirping, like it didn't know better. He pulled out his flashlight, clicked it on, swung it across the trees. Nothing. No, wait. Something moved, not in the woods, above. Clay quickened his pace, his breath now sharp, fogging out in front of him. He turned down Oak Hollow, a dirt road shortcut. Fewer houses, but it cut 10 minutes off his walk. He'd always hated Oak Hollow at night, the way it bent, and how thick the woods were. Like something could step right out of the trees and no one would ever know. He was halfway down when he heard it again. Drag, scuff, click, like claws on gravel. This time it wasn't behind him. It was beside him, in the woods, keeping pace. He didn't look, didn't want to look, but the flashlight flickered, then failed. Clay began to run. He didn't stop, not when he tripped on the pothole, not when he scraped his knee on the rocks. He could hear it now. Something crashing through brush, fast, angry. Then he made it. The streetlights of Sycamore Road at the beginning of town. He stepped under the light, panting, trembling. He turned. Nothing there. But the edge of the trees looked wrong, like something was there, but didn't want to be seen. Clay took the long way around the block, finally made it to his house, keys shaking in his hand. He opened the door, locked it behind him, and stood in the kitchen. Light buzzing overhead, sweat soaking his collar. He didn't see it at first, not until the hallway light flickered, and the back door creaked open. Clay turned just in time to see a long arm, impossibly long, sliding back into the shadows. Then it was gone. He called the police. They searched the woods, found nothing, said maybe it was a dog or a raccoon, but Clay knew better, because the next morning there were footprints in the backyard. Not boots, not paws, bare feet, long, toes spread like a lizard's, and each step left a burn mark in the grass. Clay didn't walk home after that, didn't go home some nights, slept at the plant. He started carrying a crowbar, started checking every lock twice, and every night he swears he hears it. Out there, in the woods, breathing, waiting. You can't run from something born in fire, can't outwalk something that remembers you, because some things follow, even after the furnace goes dark. It was just after midnight, when Sarah laced up her sneakers. She was 28, single, and liked to jog late, when the streets were empty and the world finally quieted down. No traffic, no noise, just the rhythm of her breath and the sound of her shoes hitting pavement. She lived in a quiet cul-de-sac near the woods, the kind of place where nothing ever really happened, until tonight. She ran her usual route, 4 blocks down, around the park, past the elementary school, then back again. Street lights flickered every so often, but most stayed on. As she turned onto Brookhaven Lane, she noticed him, a man, about a block behind, wearing all black. She thought nothing of it. People walked at night, right? She kept her pace. But when she turned onto 8th Street, so did he. Still behind her, still keeping his distance. She slowed slightly, just to see. He slowed too. That's when her stomach tightened. She crossed the street. So did he. She picked up her pace just enough to break a sweat. So did he. His steps were louder now. Not jogging, walking fast. Too fast. She turned down Oak Ridge Trail, a darker path that looped around the neighborhood pond. No houses. No people. A mistake. When she looked back, he was jogging now, not fast, but steady. She took off, full sprint, heart pounding, breath ragged, adrenaline taking over. She hit the far end of the path, where the trail reconnected with the street. She turned around. He was gone. No one. She walked fast, every nerve screaming. Got 2 blocks from home when she heard it. The fast, heavy thud of footsteps behind her again. She turned around. He was running full speed. She ran harder than she ever had, past the house with the broken porch swing, turned down her block. He was still coming. No talking, no yelling, just chasing, like a predator. She reached her house. The porch light didn't come on, fumbled her key, hands shaking, heart like a jackhammer. The key dropped. She screamed, picked it up, shoved it in. Door open, slammed, locked. She collapsed behind it, sobbing. He didn't knock, didn't try the door, didn't say a word. He just stood there. Then he walked away. The next morning, she called the police. They asked if she got a good look at him. She didn't. It was too dark. He wore a hat. He never said a word. But when they checked her doorbell camera, there was nothing there, just her, running, screaming, unlocking the door, but no one ever followed. The footage ends, just static. The officer looked at her and said, "Mom, are you sure anyone was following you?" She moved out a month later. But sometimes, when she's out late, she still sees him, just far enough away to doubt herself, but always close enough to feel him breathe. Carmen didn't plan to walk home that night, but after a long dinner at her friend's apartment and 1 too many glasses of boxed red wine, her rideshare app kept crashing, so she decided to walk. It was a short route, 20 minutes, tops. She'd done it before. Just as she reached the end of Paloma Street, her usual path was blocked off. Flashing lights, yellow tape. A fire truck idled across the road. A firefighter stepped forward. "Sorry, miss," he said. "Gas leak. You'll need to take the next block over." Carmen nodded, thanked him, and turned down a street she didn't recognize. It was darker here. The street lights were fewer. Fog hung low, curling around the sidewalk like smoke. The houses were older. Windows shuttered, lawns overgrown. She walked fast, pulling her coat tighter. At first she thought nothing of the man, an old guy walking slow, about 50 feet behind her. He wore a long coat and leaned heavily on a cane. His back was hunched, his head low, but something about him unsettled her. Maybe it was how silent he was, how perfectly paced his steps were. She crossed the street, so did he. She turned the corner. He turned too. She slowed, so did he. Her breath caught in her throat. This was wrong. He wasn't just walking. He was matching her. She quickened her pace. His cane tapped faster now. Tap, step, tap, step. Relentless. Carmen tried her phone again. No signal. She looked for street signs. There were none. Just fog and quiet, endless rows of identical houses. She took a sharp left. The old man followed. Another right. Still there. His head stayed down, but she could feel him watching. Then something changed. The tapping stopped. She glanced back. The man was standing still halfway down the block. His cane was on the ground, and he was standing straight. No hunch, no limp, just tall, alert, and smiling. She turned and ran. No more hesitation. Her boots thudded hard against the sidewalk. She cut through someone's yard, vaulted a short fence, and sprinted toward a busier intersection. But when she reached it, nothing. No cars, no lights, no noise, just more fog. Behind her, footsteps. Fast now, harder. She looked back once more. He was running, not old, not frail, arms pumping, shoulders upright, chasing her. She screamed and ran harder. Nearly twisted her ankle on a cracked curb. Her breath burned. She finally saw it. Her apartment building. Half hidden in fog, but close enough. She reached the front door, slammed into it, fumbled her key. Behind her, silence. She got inside, locked the door, collapsed on the floor. No pounding, no footsteps, just the hum of her hallway light and her own racing heart. The police arrived 20 minutes later. They checked the street. No one there. But they found something in the hallway, right outside her door. A broken cane, old, worn, and carved with strange symbols down the side. They took it in for evidence, never found the man, never figured out where the road detour led. She tried to trace it again the next day, but the street wasn't there anymore. Just a chain-link fence, and beyond it, woods. Carmen moved the next month, and she doesn't walk anymore, not alone, not after dark. Because sometimes she still hears it. Tap, step, tap, step, even when there's no one there. And sometimes, in the fog, she sees him, standing tall, smiling, waiting for her to get lost again. Thank you for walking with us tonight. Whether it's a shadow behind you, footsteps you can't explain, or someone who seems too interested in your route home, always trust your instincts, because sometimes the walk home is the most dangerous part. If you enjoyed these stories, like, share, and subscribe to Late Night Horror Stories and True Crime. And remember, some things don't just follow you, they wait for you.